Hey guys, what's going on? It's DBuzzLate here, and today I'll be comparing sort of two games, not like a full comparison, just sort of my take on it. A game that is being developed by Sony called H1Z1. I'm not sure what that stands for, probably something zombie something, but the ones, no, something one zombie one. There we go. I've decoded it. There we go. And DayZ. I've been comparing those, and when I say DayZ, I don't mean just DayZ. I mean the DayZ sort of games that it's in right now, like DayZ and Rust. Mainly those two compared to H1Z1, because this is what one of the main developers actually said. He says that he's trying to make like a bigger open world, a more persistent, game than DayZ or Rust. Like he says, he wants he wanted. This is what he said. He said he wants. Like they say, The Walking Dead. You've got the governor and Rick's group sort of attacking each other. He said that's what he wanted. So spoiler alert if you haven't already seen that part. It was like a season ago, 2 seasons ago. So I don't see how you haven't already seen it. But there we go. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, then seriously, just watch it. Okay, take my word for it. Watch it. But anyway, I'll try and move on here. He says that he wants people sort of invading each other. He says that, you don't get that on Rust, you don't get that in DayZ. You don't get that. You do get that on Rust, so I don't know what he's talking about there. And you don't get it in DayZ because you haven't got bases. But if you play Epoch, then I've seen a couple of videos where sort of camps are in constant war with each other. But the reason you can't have camps that are in constant war with each other is because the developers make it too easy to sort of burn down houses. That's what he said he can actually do though. He said he can just burn down people's houses, which seems a little bit weird because I don't know why you wouldn't build a house out of stone. When I was a kid, they read me the book, The Three Little Pigs, and I learned from that story. I learned that you build your house out of bricks, and you can't really burn down brick. It doesn't work like that. So I don't exactly know where he was going with that one, but well done. Now let's just take a look at some of the features that they've got. In H1Z1, there what can I call that? I can't call it H1Z1, there's too many fucking syllables. I'll just call it, fine, fuck's sake. I'll call it H1Z1. Yeah, you happy? Jesus Christ. So, in H1Z1, I fucking hate that name. I've spent 20 seconds talking about the name. That's one feature I don't like about it, the name. Change the fucking name. It's been developed by Sony, which probably means it won't be released on Xbox. It might be. I think it's getting released on Steam. I'm not sure why, but I think it's getting released on Steam, which should be good. You can get it at early access, probably I think $20. But you have got cars. There's quite a few guns. It sounds like a game they're going to be constantly updating because they said they haven't put in different types of zombies, and they haven't put in zombie sounds yet and stuff like that. So it seems like a game that's very much in the alpha, even though it isn't an alpha. And I don't want people saying that, oh yeah, but H1Z1 has cars and DayZ doesn't, so therefore it wins. You can't say that because H1Z1 has an entire Sony team developing it with pretty much infinite resources. DayZ has Dean Hall and his little ragtag band of developers. So you can't compare those two. And Dean Hall released a statement saying that within 6 months of release, all the features that were in the DayZ mod will be in. Oh, he said that. No, he said that a couple of months ago. So in about 4 months. So by the time it gets into the summer holidays, all the features that were in the mod will have been in the standalone, including cars, hopefully. Maybe base building. Not 100% sure on that. But the base building on DayZ should be pretty good. And Rust right now on base building is probably the best base building game, I'd say. I'd say it's better than Epoch because it's just the game is mostly developed around base building. But the problem with H1Z1 is that they've got such a wide variety of ways to play in survival. Like if you want to get in DayZ, if you want fuel, you can just go to a gas station or you can buy it at the market. But in H1Z1, you've got to make the fuel yourself. You've either got to try and scavenge it. Mostly, it seems like a game that you can't just sort of play and have a good first go. It seems like a game you need to just sort of swipe your afternoon clean and just dedicate lots of time into playing it. Probably download the wiki app for it and see what you need to craft that and all that sort of stuff. So it seems like a game you can't really do that. And it's using the Forge Light ending engine, which is the same engine used by PlanetSide 2, and the PlanetSide 2 was a beautiful game. You can't even doubt that. Beautiful game. And the DayZ is run on Bohemia Interactive. So, I don't really know who wins there, but DayZ is a really good looking game. The textures do look amazing. No one really compliments that anymore, but it is an absolutely beautiful game. You can't even doubt that. But the good thing about H1Z1 is apparently it's hugely open world. It's meant to be much bigger open world than DayZ, but apparently it's meant to be very, very open world, and I can see a few problems with that. The fact that you might get lost quite a lot if you don't have a map, although a huge map would also be good. Apparently their servers can support thousands of players, or at least 1,000 players, which also good, but also bad if it just turns out to be another sort of DayZ knockoff where everyone is super non-friendly and shoots people. And if it's thousands of players, it's just not going to be a fun game to play. Like, you're just going to spawn in, you're not going to be able to do anything without getting shot at or anything like that. They haven't said whether or not they're introducing a speak system where you can speak to players like you can on DayZ and Rust. If they don't, then I can see a lot of problems. I can see a lot of problems where where that's just going to break. I don't watch the Rust dev blog, so I don't exactly know what's going to happen there. I don't know whether I don't know what they're adding in, but from what I've played of Rust, I don't see how much more they could really add in. Now that they've added in guns, they've pretty much perfected the crafting system. There aren't exactly any bugs. I'm not exactly sure how much more they could put in. The only thing I can see them doing is optimizing it, maybe adding in more places, maybe adding in more loot. But adding in more loot just seems a bit of a waste, to be honest. They got rid of the zombies, which I don't really understand that. It was a zombie game. I bought it when it was a zombie game, and then by the time I finished downloading it and got around to playing it, it wasn't a zombie game, and I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened there? But yes, I don't know what they're adding in, but I'm not sure how much more they could add in now that they've done it. They just need to keep optimizing it and maybe swapping stuff around. I'm not really sure what they do there. But the DayZ devlogs, they still haven't got around to adding fucking cars yet, but they've added in bow and arrows in physics, like the physics, like when you drop something it sort of falls on the floor properly, like it doesn't just appear on the floor. But I would rather them add in to cars. Like I think that's where H1Z1 have sort of got DayZ beat in the development, because obviously where they've got the whole of Sony backing them, it's a little harder to. It's going to be easier to sort of optimize more than one thing at once and update more than one thing at once. But the thing about DayZ, they never really listen to anyone. They never listen to anyone. They release all these devlogs, and people always comment, and they always obviously they create loads of fuss around the net saying we want cars, but they're not getting cars. They're getting bow and arrows, which are going to be pretty sick. Don't get me wrong. And they're putting all these physics and stuff in, but that's not what people want. People want to see cars. And the thing about H1Z1 is that they won't have to listen to people, because they can add in, they can worry about more than just adding in bows and arrows. They've already got cars down, so they've got them beat there. But what I've seen from the gameplay, it looks very much like DayZ, the mod. It looks so much like that. But it looks a lot like the Walking Dead Survival Instinct. I'm not sure what engine that used, but it looks a lot just the way like you shoot, the way you sort of walk around with your pistol. It looks very much like the Walking Dead Survival Instinct. But in that way, that your character looks like that, but the surroundings look like DayZ mod, but it's run on the PlanetSide 2 engine, so my brain hurts a little bit, but I'm not sure what's going on there. Rust probably is the more beautiful game out of them all. Everything's shiny and it's brilliant. Okay, so basically now to sum up all the sort of pros and cons of it, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've actually got to put them all down. It kind of comes out as a tie, kind of. No, oh wait, no, they win. Okay, anyway, let's go through it. Development, so in the issue of development, H1Z1 have got Rust and DayZ beat. Okay, they're pretty annihilated. Just the way that they've got so much more people backing it. Obviously they've got better equipment. I think probably because it's Sony. And again, H1Z1 win in the funding. They win funding because they've got Sony. They've got more money than DayZ and Rust, since they're just games. I'm sorry if I've insulted anyone. In realism, H1Z1 seems to have DayZ and Rust beat. I know you probably argue with me, but the fact that the crafting system is so intricate, I don't even know what that word means, but it seems to fit to this exact point that I'm trying to say. It just seems so elegant. The way that you have everything, you have to craft everything basically. You can craft guns, torches, flares, everything like that, rather than just finding them. In the sense of maps, okay, H1Z1 and DayZ are sort of tied in that one, because H1Z1 has got some pros and cons there. It's got a huge map that could also have its drawbacks, but also it's got quite a lot of positives. Like the fact and the fact that it's got, you can have thousands of players on there. That could also have loads of positives, but loads of negatives as well. Like, you know, just getting shot on sight. But you could also work to your advantage, I guess. You know, you run into more people, you have more fun. I don't know, but DayZ, you can go in every single building now. I think I've found one building that you can't go into, and I always check it because I'm a fucking retard. But yeah, there's only there's so many things that you can do on DayZ. You have so much more freedom to do what you want. Rust, not so much. It's more, the only places I know are Radtown, small Radtown, and those mountains over there. That's all that I know, really. And now moving on to the graphics, Rust and DayZ have H1Z1 beat by a long shot. I can say this with care, okay, because I've seen some gameplay, and you've seen some gameplay, and it's not good. Doesn't look very good. It looks, I don't really care that much about graphics when it comes to graphics. It can be stick figures for all I care, as long as it's a good game, but it's not. It doesn't, for a game that's coming out on the next gen console, it needs to have good graphics. That's sort of the main selling point of the next gen consoles. People who have paid hundreds and hundreds of quid or hundreds and hundreds of pounds and dollars to buy these consoles, and they see gameplay for this, they're just going to be like, yeah, fuck that, I'm out. Base building. Since this seems to be a big part of all three of these, I thought I'd put it in here. Rust and DayZ have that beat. I'm not talking about the standalone here, I'm talking about the mod of DayZ. The Epoch has great base building, really good base building. Rust, great base building, but I haven't seen anything from H1Z1, and they didn't really talk about it either. I've seen quite a few sort of interviews and stuff, not interviews, sorry, just, I guess interviews, but more just people talking about it, and it doesn't seem to really mention the base building. They've talked about it, they've talked about how badly they want to do it, but it doesn't seem to have anything really new about it. With Rust, you can have like drawbridges, like you can have giant wooden gates and all these great bases, but you know, in DayZ, obviously you can build big bases, but you can't have anything special. You can just build on houses, which I thought was really good. You can sort of find a house in Cherno and just build it up to make it your own, which I thought was brilliant, but you know, apparently not. Player interaction. DayZ has that beat 100 times over whatever H1Z1 could do. The freedom that you have on DayZ to do what you want is great. You can force feed people stuff, you can handcuff them, you can just beat them. I mean, there's the amazing stuff you can do. Like I've once like I've handcuffed people and just sat next to them for like just like 10 minutes just to see what they say. Most of them just don't say anything because they're scared. I don't know, but the freedom that you have on DayZ is hilarious. And also you can on Rust, you can sort of point guns at people, lock them in rooms, and I always what I do, I'll build like a tiny little house, and then I'll lock someone in there, and then I'll make it possible for them to get out, but I'll make them try and find it, so when they leave they think they've like escaped from prison, they'll be really happy. The customer patience, this is sort of something that I wanted to talk about. I don't mean to sort of play on stereotypes here, but before I got a PC, like a gaming PC, sorry, and I just played on console, I didn't really seem to know about the whole sort of glitches and bugs and alphas and all that sort of stuff. I just thought you bought a game, it worked, you played it, you know, that sort of thing. But maybe for the H1Z1 this might be a problem, but for a game that's gonna have thousands of players on single servers, and they're gonna try and not have bugs, glitches, like immense lag and all that sort of stuff, yeah, I don't see that happening. But with DayZ and Rust, people know that it's in development. People know that when they buy it, they say this is an early access game. You know, on DayZ it comes up, thank you for supporting this early access alpha. So I think that people are going to be more understanding. And if people go on H1Z1 expecting to just have a really immense happy time, but then they find out that it's not as much to do with PvP, more to do with a giant crafting game, then they're going to be a little bit disappointed. But it's still still looks like a great game. But overall, DayZ and Rust, they win, because I've literally just got on my notepad, I've just sort of put all these points together, but you know, pro style. But yeah, DayZ and Rust, they've won. Sorry any H1Z1 fans out there, even though the game's not out yet. And don't you dare comment and say, how can you judge it, the game's not out yet. This is an early judgment, okay? This is an early judgment. Like, I always compare games before they come out, okay? So this way, people can't say I'm wrong, but they can't say I'm right either. So, I win. I beat DayZ and Rust. Fuck you. I'm joking. Guys, if you did like the video, please like the video. If you found it helpful, why would you find it helpful? I don't know. I'm used to saying stuff like that. Just comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me, because it's probably better than what I think. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later, and the Teapot Slayer's out of here. Have a great day.